In 2013, me and my best friend had been going for about 10 years or so trying to build our own comic company. Unfortunately, we were not getting that far. And he actually ended up quitting. He was just burnt out and tired and he just couldn't do it anymore. And I'm not gonna lie, that kind of devastated me. That really hurt, to be quite honest. That really hurt. That was a crappy time in my life. So I'm scrolling on DeviantArt and I come across this company that's up and coming called Saturday AM. That's black led. Now, what intrigued me was there was actually a company trying to do something instead of doing the normal thing, which is complaining about oppression and racism and blah, blah, blah. They were like, no, we're going to build it on our own. So, since I respected the hell out of that, I reached out to Frederick, and surprisingly, he actually got back to me. And he was like, I like the work that you're doing. And their pitch sounded really awesome. You maintain ownership of your work, you get marketing help, and you get editing help on your story. Sounds great. But my only problem is this: every time I asked about money, it would be kind of a dodge. It would just tell me we need to talk about that over an NDA. Now, I was in my mid 20s. I'm not this teenager who's just looking for exposure. In order for me to take my flagship series and put it into this up and coming publisher's magazine, I need to know some numbers. But then I also found out that it was probably going to be an exclusive to their website instead of inside of the magazine. So, at that time, we decided to part ways. Now, a few years later, they launched the Summer of Manga, and I, still lost, not knowing what I wanted to do, decided to enter the contest with my series, Ghoul's Corpse. Surprisingly, I actually won, and we started talking about putting it into the magazine. But ultimately, we both decided not to move forward with it, and we parted ways. Even though I walked away both times, I still kept an eye on them from afar. And over the years, I've noticed things that have made me glad to have not been under their banner. What's up, creators? It is Frey, 20-year plus indie creator, still going, still growing, here to talk to you openly and honestly about art struggles and hopefully help you build towards your art dreams. Now, let's dive into this. Saturday AM is a North Carolina company that focuses on uplifting diverse voices. They call themselves the world's most diverse manga anthology, and all of their creators are from around the globe. All their series seem to have a minority lead, or it was created by a minority. That sounds great on paper if you're into that. Sounds great. But the constant messaging gets very exhausting. The first black female shonen hero, the dark fantasy feminist story. They even have a branch where it's specifically for LGBTQ plus A, B, C equals sign, plus sign, dollar sign. You get the point. It starts feeling like diversity is the main product instead of the good stories. And I've also noticed that diversity doesn't stretch when it comes to the way they think. The company is clearly liberal minded, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you know what you're gonna get with that. Every time there is any slight bit of criticism, it is trolling, hating, or racism, misogyny, etc., 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 etc. Now, they have their real accomplishments. I'm not going to take away from any of their accomplishments. They have publishing deals, they have their books all around the world. At one point, they had their own convention. They have a fighting game coming out. They have a trading card game. But when people have legitimate business concerns with them, the responses are very defensive, unprofessional, and dismissive. They act like the company has no flaws whatsoever. And if they have any pushback, it is just hating on their main agenda, spreading diversity. And this is one of my biggest gripes. It's how they handle the criticism, especially from creators who've actually worked with them. Multiple artists have come out to talk about the unfair treatment at the company. Some people have entered their summer manga contest and they thought they would get a serialized paid deal only to discover that they would be making chapters for the website for free. Some were promised pay or equity in the company, but they ended up doing heavy unpaid revisions and continuously pushed on by this "we're all in it together" attitude. Even artists on their higher profile series like Sagami reportedly went long periods without getting paid. A few longtime associates have described the company as using this band of friends type personality as a way to guilt people into staying with the company if they want to leave, or doing unpaid work such as branding materials and, more chapters, etc., etc. Some have said the environment is actually kind of cult-like, but I think that's kind of strong, so you can decide that. There's plenty of stories out there about Saturday AM. I will be fair and say Saturday AM is not your friend. They're not your buddy. They're a company. Some creators go in the experience thinking that we're just going to be this nice, close-knit, buddy family, that we just go to this artist alley together and we just sell all of our books and it's going to be freaking magical and unicorns. If you go in there like that, you're going to get exploited heavily. I feel too many people are very naive when they go and work with companies. And you got to understand, the company is going to company. Okay, I know you're always trying to find this perfect company that doesn't do anything wrong, but company's objective is the company to thrive, not for you to thrive. Okay, you can thrive within the company, but the company's goal is not for you as an individual to thrive. It's for the company to thrive. Another thing that gets me is the visibility. Now, if I asked you, outside of Apple Black, Soul Beat, or Clock Striker, name me 4 more series, would you be able to do it? Without looking it up, would you be able to do it? Odds are it would be kind of hard, and the reason is the majority of their social media focuses on their 2 flagship series that are ironically created by the individuals that own the company. For every post that is about some other creator's work, there are like 3 or 4 posts about Apple Black and Clock Striker. So even if you do get accepted by them, you may end up doing most of the promotion by yourself anyway. The company seems focused on pushing their main series into the forefront instead of sharing the marketing equally. Now, am I saying not to work with him? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying don't go in naive thinking that you're just going to have a band of friends. They do have reach. I've gone to Walmart and I've seen Apple Black on my shelves. And if you go to their website, most of their series do have at least 1 book, most of them. If you go to conventions, they usually cover the table for you and the expenses of you getting there. And the company is consistently rolling out projects, whether it's more Apple Black, Clock Striker, or something else in their catalog. And no massive controversies have blown up since the earlier wave with Monitor Comics. Now, if you don't know who Monitor Comics is, I suggest you go on Twitter and look him up. He has a lot of manga writing tutorials that he does, but also he compiled a thread of Saturday AM claims that people are making. But since that big old thing came out, there hasn't been anything really new. It's just kind of more of the same complaint. So overall, here are my feelings for Saturday AM. The diversity element turns me off. I do not like how much they are focused on diversity instead of the focus on making good stories. I do not like how they handle their criticism. I think it's very high school how they handle the criticism, even from people that have worked with them. And even when you give them factual information about their wrongdoings, they turn it against you. They call you a troll. They call you a bigot, a racist. They say all these other deflections instead of actually addressing problems that the company has. The consistent stories that I've seen about inconsistent pay or not getting paid at all, or being constantly asked to rewrite their stuff. I mean, and Apple Black doesn't even escape that one, because how many times has Apple Black been rewritten? Then the overall vibe of you gotta stay here because you don't want to let your best friends down, right? When it's actually just the guys to get you to feel guilty and stay with the company. And then the uneven promotion of products, because even like when they come out with new things, what's the first thing you see? You either see Cass from Clock Striker on there, or you see Suno's the music program. Sano from Apple Black, right? That's what you see. You don't see all the other characters. You just see the two main faces that they continuously promote. So with all that, I'd rather just kind of find my own way, be able to create stuff, and work with whoever I want without being contracted to stay under one umbrella. I can't do it. It's not for me. Now you can decide what you want to do. You got the good, you got the bad, you got the personal story. For me, like, it's truly up to you if you want to go for this company. If this video gave you some things to think about, then drop your likes and your comments and your shares and all that stuff that just makes me go. Alright, sorry, that was kind of cringe. And if you want to support the channel, always go over to frayofficial.com, get some artwork, get some mangas, get games, sign up for the Fray, the website stuff, because it's got a lot of bonus stuff in there. But until next time, keep creating and valuing yourself.